Welcome to this fourth talk in the series about ancient Athens, produced by the Classics department at East London Science School. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Athenian tragedy. A drama was invented in ancient Athens, and it formed an incredibly important part of their society, and a crucial element especially of the democratic process. At its height, theatre was free to attend for all Athenian citizens, and it enabled them to examine and reflect the issues that were present in their society. And its influence has been felt throughout literature ever since. So we start off with this picture behind me, the Theatre of Dionysus. This was, not that much of it is left today, the main theatre in Athens, built on the slopes of the Acropolis. At its height, it could seat 17,000 people, and this is where the great City Dionysia festival took place. This festival, held in honor of the Greek god of wine and drama, Dionysus, took place every year in Athens and lasted for 5 days. There would have been lots of parades, and the highlight of the festival, a drama competition. Each playwright would produce 3 tragedies and 1 comedy. The 3 tragedies formed a trilogy, and the stories would have linked with each other. And the 1 comedy, or satire play, was meant to provide a bit of light relief after the dark and often quite deadly themes that took place in the tragic plays. The first record we have of the City Dionysia competition is from 534 BC, where supposedly a playwright, or perhaps actor, we're not sure, called Thespis was the victor. This is the origin of the term thespian, meaning someone who likes to be involved with drama. There's also the origin of the word tragedy itself. In Greek, tragodia, which means a goat song. We're not exactly sure where this comes from, but it might have been because a goat was sacrificed to Dionysus during the City Dionysia festival, just before the dramatic performances. Now, there are 3 very important words connected with Greek tragedy. The first is hubris, which is translated really as arrogance, arrogance in the face of the gods. In lots of tragic plays, a character would display hubris and would be punished for it. The second important word is hamartia, the fatal flaw or mistake made by a protagonist which leads to their downfall. And lastly, perhaps the most important, catharsis. This in Greek means a ritual cleansing or purification of the soul, and refers to the emotional experience, the roller coaster, if you like, that audience members go through by watching horrendous stories like the murder of a father and the marriage of a mother in Oedipus Rex, or other such tales from tragedy. Now, the 3 most famous playwrights from ancient Athens are Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides. We start with Aeschylus. He was alive during the Persian War. In fact, he served at the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC, and his most famous play is the trilogy The Oresteia. This trilogy is about the story of Agamemnon, the ruler of Mycenae, and his return home from the Trojan War. He is murdered by his wife and her lover because he sacrificed their daughter before he left for war. There are lots of themes going on in this play, including the fact that by the end, his son, Agamemnon's son, is actually let off his crime because Athena wants to show that the rule of law has to take precedent over revenge. But one of the most interesting anecdotes from it, in my opinion, is the origin of the red carpet. Clytemnestra, the wife of Agamemnon, rolls out a red carpet for him upon his return home. And he walks down this as he arrives into his palace, unknowing that he's just about to be murdered. Now, the color red, was very expensive to produce in ancient Greece, so it is a symbol of his wealth. Obviously, Aeschylus also meant it to be a symbol of the blood that is about to be spilt in this house. The red carpet, still used today at the Oscars, is connected with the wealth and the extravagance of this event and of Hollywood. And I'm not claiming, obviously, that there is any blood involved, but it is the idea of hubris, which was so important to the Greeks. And perhaps that if you have too much money, too much pride, the gods might one day seek to punish you. Our second playwright, Sophocles, wrote the famous play Oedipus Tyrannos, later called Oedipus Rex, Oedipus the King. The famous story of the man who grew up to murder his father and marry his mother. Sophocles also wrote the play Antigone, which is the story of Oedipus's daughter and her punishment at the hands of her uncle Creon. Now that play, Antigone, raises a great question, whether you should obey the laws of your city or the laws of the gods and the respect due to your family. Our last playwright is Euripides. He wrote the most plays of any Athenian playwright, and he has the most plays that have survived. So we know a lot about what he wrote. To name but a few, the Bacchae, one of my favorites, where the god Dionysus punishes a king, Pentheus of Thebes, for not respecting him. And this is perhaps a reflection on the acceptance of tragedy and drama as a whole. Another one is Medea, the story of the woman who ends up killing her own children to get revenge on her husband Jason. We've got Hippolytus, the hero who rejects Aphrodite because he only loves himself and does not want to love anyone else. Again, he is punished after his chariot crashes. His influence cannot be underestimated. Euripides has provided material for many later authors, both medieval and even modern, to adapt his material. And I'll finish today by saying that there are several great modern versions of these traditional plays, of these ancient Greek plays. The Children of Jocasta was published in the last few years. A rewriting of the story of Oedipus is one I would particularly recommend.